Okay, this is an episode of the Live Free podcast. I'm here with Derek D. Young, and he is writer, producer, director, editor. I'm assuming, right?
So I don't really do much editing. I do a little bit of help on the writing side. Obviously, I'm an actor in Derek and Ryan.
Yeah,
I'm
I
the
forgot to throw that one in
producer.
there.
Yeah. I'm the producer, and obviously, I help Nick. I'm one of the creatives. I help with some writing, but I'm not really an editor.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah,
I figured.
I coordinate with our editors and figure out who's gonna be the editor, but I myself am not an editor.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad then. But yeah, you do all
You're
that
good.
except for editing for Derek and Ryan.
Correct.
Probably high school also.
Well, high school I actually wasn't really. Well, high school I more was just an actor. Like that was when we were sort of just getting into it. For Derek and Ryan, the way that sort of got started was at the very beginning of quarantine and COVID, right? Nick lives like a block away from me, so we would see each other all the time, right? And since we never finished high school in season two, never got released, um, we would just hang out all the time. We'd be like, dude, we should totally, get back into that and do it again, right? And then we decided, okay, but we don't want to just go back to that because it's been like 3 years or whatever since we filmed the stuff for high school. So we were like, all right, let's just make a new show, new show in quotes since it's the same main characters. But you know, and then I sort of took on more of a producer role for that because it was obviously a bigger project in high school. We had more professional equipment, we had more actors, we had more stuff going into it, right?
Definitely. So did you get into more of those roles between the two shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you work on in between?
Well, I don't really do lots of film stuff outside of Derek and Ryan. You know, I like acting. I will. I did like an improv group my freshman year of college, um, which I don't do anymore, but that's just because I'm busy with like schoolwork, etc.
Definitely, yeah.
Um, so I don't really do that much acting outside of Derek and Ryan. I would, I guess, if I had the opportunity to do so, but most of it goes into this show.
So are you going to college for something film related like Nick or no?
No, so I'm actually
Oh, I think you told me that.
I'm
You're going.
yeah, I'm actually a material science and engineering major.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do all sorts of chemistry and STEM stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you intend to do anything after Derek and Ryan then or no?
Well, so all right, this is a little bit of an insider thing. We're thinking about doing. So we have actually. All right, let me backtrack a little bit. We obviously have Derek and Ryan season one, which has been coming out. The first two episodes are already out. There is a second season that has been filmed. It's not going to be out for a while, but it has been filmed. We have some plans for stuff that we might want to do afterwards. Nothing is really set in stone yet, but we have some ideas of where we want to go, with the characters and with some of the new characters that get introduced in season two. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just watched episode two because we're filming this on the 3rd of February or recording this on the 3rd of February. And episode two just came out today at noon.
yeah.
It was really funny. I really liked it.
Glad you liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
that's probably my favorite one that we did in season one.
oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. I thought it
Yeah.
was really good. How many are there in this first season?
So in season one, there's gonna be 4 episodes.
Oh, so that'd
The
be
next
perfect
one.
if we do the.
Sorry, what?
That'd be perfect if we did the podcast
Yeah,
planning.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be perfect.
The next one is gonna be called Derek and Ryan Make a Pyramid Scheme.
Oh, that's
Um,
episode 3. Okay, sweet.
that'll be episode 3.
Nicholas mentioned that one. I was excited for that one. I figured that'd
Yeah,
be later on.
that one is currently in the process of getting edited. It should be, well, when this eventually comes out, it'll probably be closer to when episode 3 is getting released. But right now, that's in the pipeline.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one come to fruition and be released because it sounds like it'll be pretty funny.
Yeah,
I was excited for Fight Nazis when Nick mentioned it because that one sounded funny too, and it was. I loved the
yeah,
whole LSD aspect.
yeah. Well, that was like when we added that in. It was sort of because we knew we wanted to bring Sean back, right? From high school,
Was he the main
Paul
guy?
who
Was
played.
he the one throwing rocks at the beginning?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, okay.
that's Sean.
I
That's
haven't seen
his
High
character. So
School,
Paul.
but I'm
Oh,
going
okay,
to.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You don't really need to watch High School in order to appreciate Derek and Ryan. It adds some good context, right? Because there are a few references to the older High School stuff in Derek and Ryan.
Okay.
But we tried to make it so that you can watch Derek and Ryan without having watched High School, and it'll still make sense.
Yeah, I've only skimmed the previous one, but I do intend to
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah. But so Paul, who plays Sean, he was in High School season 1, but he wasn't in High School season 2 pretty much at all because Paul moved. Um, and so when we were making Derek and Ryan, we asked our fans like, what characters do you want to see return? And Sean was number 1 on the list, like by a landslide. So we were like, all right, let's have an episode where we bring Sean back, right? And we were like, okay, what could we do? What would Sean have done with his life, right, after he left? Because he's obviously kind of a crazy character.
Very much so, yeah. I can tell just by that
we were like,
Fight Nazis episode.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were like, okay, what if he was in the FBI, right? And like, how did he get in the FBI? Well, we don't really need to explain it, right? He has his ways. He's crazy. And then the little like acid bit that kind of was a bit of an afterthought, actually. Because we were like, what's something else that we can add in to just sort of spice up the episode, right? Because we had Sean, we had the fight with Blondie, and that whole arc. But we were like, what's something we can add to give it a little more like joie de vivre, right? And we thought, why not put him on psychedelics, right?
That's what you do in all cases when you're trying to add some strangeness to a project.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I thought it made for it to be really interesting. It added a lot of elements of humor, and it hammered them on the head of the nail.
Yeah.
Yeah, the couch scene was hilarious.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite so far.
Okay.
So did you help write that one at all?
So most of the writing is Nick's doing. Usually our writing process, well, I say our writing process, his writing process. I mean, I'll help, right? I'm not going to say I do nothing. Usually what will happen is we'll sort of work out like a kind of idea of where we want the story to go, like together, and we'll sort of get some ideas for, like plot points, and then he'll, write most of the script. Sometimes we'll just like improv stuff. So, for example, episode 4 of season 1 was kind of a concept episode where almost none of it was scripted.
Really? That's interesting.
There were a few parts that were scripted, but the vast majority of it was just, kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm style, right?
Yeah.
Where we would like, we would have an idea for like, this is what we want this scene to be, right? This is how we want it to go.
Like this is the goal of meeting it at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go, right?
Yep.
Improvise. And then, we'd run it through one time, It would be like, okay, that was funny, let's keep that, or like, how can we add more to this, right? So we'd run through the scene like, you know, four, five, 6 times, right? A couple times, just keep adding to it every time, and then our editor for that one, basically just took all of the stuff that we had and was like, all right, put it together, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to see that one. What's that one called, if you don't mind?
So the title for that one actually hasn't been
Figured out yet?
completely solidified yet.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's that unscripted. That
But
one is.
um, well, so the sort of like uh de facto title, I guess, that we've been going with is called the Broccoli Pals episode, because it revolves around um like a video that Derek and Ryan make, uh, where they are called the quote unquote Broccoli Pals.
Okay.
Um, it's it's kind of a weird episode, which I guess is not that surprising considering it was, almost entirely improvised. Um, but so it doesn't really have like an official title yet. We're still trying to figure it out, but yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, are you gonna be putting them out about once a month, or?
That's sort of what we're shooting for.
Okay, because I know the
If
first
we
one
can,
came out a while ago.
yeah. Well, so the first one, yeah, the first one came out.
I think it was in October.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it was a while ago. Well, because we had been planning to try and get them all out pretty quickly, but then there were some issues with logistics, and we've had to do a fair number of reshoots on some things, and so it just sort of got clogged up. But we're getting back on schedule now. Obviously, the second episode just got released. Um, we're hoping to get the third one out probably in like a month ish. I think is the goal. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing that one, and then the one that you guys don't have a title for yet. Um, like
yeah.
I told Nicholas, this show reminds me of Community. I don't know if you know that one.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then also Workaholics.
I actually haven't seen Workaholics though.
It reminds me of that show so much, especially
Okay, okay.
with how you cap an episode off at the end. The
Yeah,
the wit of the characters and the situation leading to something so outlandish almost.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, cause
it's the same vein.
yeah,
It's
it's just
crazy.
kind of like, I mean, when we got back into like making Derek and Ryan, right? We realized we have these great characters. You know, what can we do with them, right? Because Derek obviously was okay. Well, in high school at least, Derek was kind of the absolutely insane one. Which is not to say that he's not still in Derek and Ryan, but Ryan was sort of more of the straight man type character. And then we kind of changed it up a little bit in Derek and Ryan, where Ryan still is kind of the straight man, but obviously he also is going along with some of the crazy schemes of Derek.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that.
yeah. So you just sort of get like some wacky, crazy situation, and then roll with it, right?
I wasn't expecting it to be written so well, honestly, when I checked it out. Like, but it really is. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
like,
Well,
so
this one was the one that we were like, is this gonna get a good public reception, right? Because it's obviously a little bit goes over some taboo material.
yeah, definitely,
Um,
definitely. That I liked that a lot though. I feel like it made it
yeah,
yeah, it solidified it as you
yeah.
guys were trying
I
to go
think it
for
works
something.
very well.
Yeah, you were trying to go for something.
Although obviously I'm biased.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I thought it was really funny, honestly.
well, thank you.
Yeah, I was laughing at that one quite a bit. Um, so I know you don't write much, and like you probably don't direct much either, huh?
So I mean, we sort of both. Like
Do the
he
directing
and I are
for.
both sort of director and producer. In fairness, he usually does more of the creative stuff, and I usually do more of the logistical stuff. But we
Okay.
kind of both do both, right? Like when we're on set, especially if it's a smaller group, if it's like, so in some of the stuff in season two, we had a lot more characters. Season two is definitely, I think, our most ambitious um, project that we've done.
I'm looking forward to that.
So
You said
yeah,
that'll be coming out a whiles away, right? Like,
yeah, that's not gonna be coming out for a while. Probably like probably like at least 6 months.
oh, okay. I was thinking you meant like 2 years or something.
No, okay, no, yeah,
Okay,
no.
okay,
Well, hopefully not that far away.
okay, okay.
Um, yeah, no. I mean it like because we have most of the footage. Like I don't know, like probably like 95%. I don't know off the top of my head. I have like a giant spreadsheet of all of the stuff that we have. But I don't know off the top of my head. Um, but so like on some of the days that we had like a bunch of people on set, those were the days where like it was very clear like okay, we're doing this and then we're doing this and then we're doing this, right? And Nick would sort of hop into the more directorial role, and obviously he and I were both acting. Um, but then especially for the ones where it's a smaller cast and crew, you know, usually he and I will just sort of work together, right? Like if it's just us two in a scene, right, and we have like a camera operator as well, and maybe a sound person, um, usually those go by pretty quick because we don't necessarily need a ton of direction since we obviously have been playing characters for a long time, and so we can just sort of, you know, get
Yeah.
into the scene, right?
Hop right into it.
Exactly.
Yep. So what do you enjoy most then? Um, Acting or any one of those creative
I mean,
branches?
probably acting.
Yeah.
For me, it's fun to get into the character, and obviously, as I've said before, Derek is a really wacky kind of
Very unique character.
crazy character.
Yeah. Yep.
Comes up with lots of harebrained schemes. Um, but
he's got really good dialogue.
It's just fun. Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Why did you guys keep your name but you changed Nicholas's name?
So, um, that was like when we made high school, right? Obviously, the characters' names were decided then. It was going to be Derek and Ryan. I'm not entirely sure, to be completely honest, why we kept my name. Well, so actually, before we made high school, when we were in like middle school, when we were very, very first thinking about doing this sort of thing, the show was initially going to be called Lipton's Lab after Derek Lipton.
Oh, okay.
And it was going to be more like science-y, not really sci-fi, but like, kind of science-y-esque. And then we sort of scrapped that, obviously, and we went a different direction with it.
Kind of like a weird science type of humor?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, it never really got very far, obviously.
Yeah.
This was like years and years ago. That was just sort of like the initial, idea behind it, right? And then obviously it evolved a lot from there.
That's really interesting.
But
I never would have imagined that.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure why those names were picked. That's just what we went with. And here we are.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I was thinking that Nicholas's name would have been Ryan before I figured out who played Ryan and met him actually.
Yeah.
Because I just recently met him like about a week ago, or so.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I just started working with Draco Lloyd in, last year, maybe April-ish.
okay.
How long have you been working with him, or
So
did
I
you work with
actually
him?
not really. So myself directly, I didn't really work with Drake Lloyd that much. Mostly that was through Nick.
Yeah, yep.
Um,
Because I seen you guys hosted one of his things, New Year's things or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that.
I remember we did like a oh, I think it was like an award something. Maybe I don't actually remember. This was
Probably years ago, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still interesting, that you were involved with him that much, that you have a
yeah,
fan base from people that watch him.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you been on any other series of his, or no, not at all?
No, I haven't. I don't think Nick has.
I think he said
Um,
he was, but I can't remember which
maybe
ones.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
So you strictly work with Nick then?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know,
that's
like I said,
nice.
like I obviously am amenable to doing other projects, film wise, and um, I've worked with Nick on some other projects other than Derek and Ryan.
Oh, what are
Um,
those about?
well, so we had a show that I wasn't really on that much. I like guest starred in an episode um, called Bad Influences,
I think I've
which
heard of
was on
that.
Nick's channel, Comedy Cubed. Um, that also never got finished. We have a bunch of stuff filmed that we had filmed for that just never got released. Um, so
Why don't you
like
go through with releasing? Uh, is that kind of a personal, like, self critique type of thing, or?
no, I mean honestly, more it's just like a logistical issue, like getting people to edit it, and sorry, not Nick, um, is uh, like one of the main editors. He's not our only editor now. Now that we obviously have more stuff that needs to be edited, just one person could not do it. Um, but so I know Nick personally does not like editing that much. He's good at it, but I know he doesn't love doing it. Um, so what would end up happening is we would film this stuff, and then it just wouldn't get edited. Like it just wouldn't happen. Time would pass, and then we would be like, oh, if only, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He told me that he didn't like, editing when I talked to him. Um, you don't like editing at all either. Have you ever
Um,
edited?
not since like high school. Like, for like a film class I did. Um, where we learned like very basics of editing. Um, other than that, I have not.
And that's just not your forte anymore. Did you grow
Yeah,
out of it, or?
yeah. I mean, it's not really something that I really got into. Um, I'm personally, I prefer more of the like acting side, and then you know I kind of stepped into the producer role, because we needed someone to do it, and you know I'm I think I'm pretty good at figuring out all the logistics of everything, like especially for season two
So
of
you're more of a, technical producer, like what
yes,
actors you need
yeah,
for what? Okay, okay. You're
yeah,
not.
and like like scheduling and making sure do we have all the props we need, and do we have crew on set every day, and you know what are we filming when, etc.
That's one of the hardest parts. So that's, yeah, that's
You're telling me.
it's always good
um
to have someone like that. Yes.
yeah, well, there's there's like a giant spreadsheet I have of just like all the scenes that we have in season two. I mean, it's huge, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know.
How many
Anyway,
episodes are in the second season?
there's four as well, but
Oh,
they're
four as well.
longer.
Okay. Oh, they're longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Well, two of them are
20
longer.
to 30 minutes, or
So two of them are about the same length as the season one stuff, where it's like, uh, 15, 20 minutes ish, and then two of them are um like almost double length actually, because one of them goes over like a year in the life of Derek and Ryan,
oh,
and so
that's pretty
that
cool.
yeah,
I'm excited for that one, really.
yeah, that one is a good episode, but my personal favorite from season two is the episode that we had Paul back. All the stuff, honestly, all the stuff that we've done with Paul has been really phenomenal. He's a great actor. He's always good to have on set. Um, yeah.
Was it him that broke that laptop, right, in this episode too?
No, 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 no. And Blondie, who was the one who was breaking the laptop, was
Oh,
played
okay,
by
okay,
Emerson Wright,
okay,
who plays Blondie. Paul is the one who plays Sean.
okay. I got them mixed up.
Yeah.
You, like you said, you're the producer, so like that was cool that you guys broke a laptop because
Yeah. Well, so
usually if you're on a budget,
um,
you'll try to avoid that by using a different
yeah.
angle
Well,
or
so
whatever.
the way that happened was that laptop was already broken.
That's what I
You
figured,
you
but
couldn't see it, but there was like a giant crack in the screen.
oh, okay. Did you at least
Well,
save?
actually, I don't think it was in the glass on the screen. I actually think it was in the LCD panel of the screen. So like if you turned it on, you would see this
Yeah,
giant crack.
yeah.
Um,
Did you take out the internals?
no,
Really?
because I remember when we were filming that day, Nick was like, we want to try and show him breaking a computer, right? Or like do some good like camera angles so we don't actually have to break it, but it looks like we're breaking it. And then I was like, actually, I think I have my old computer from like years and years and years ago that's broken now that I don't use anymore. Let's take a hammer to that, right? Um, and and there we go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because usually you would definitely try to not break a laptop.
Try to not break a computer, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's like a Hollywood film, you wouldn't usually see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. I was definitely not expecting that. I was expecting the camera angle to change real quick, but it was cool.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I need to rewatch that one. That one was written really well. That one reminded me literally of a Workaholics episode, which you should definitely check
Okay,
out.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm interested. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, it reminds me quite a bit. There's some of those that are really dumb for Workaholics, but some of them that are like the smarter ones remind me of yours.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So what's the most excited? What's the episode you're most excited about coming up from Derek and Ryan?
Um, I would say my favorite episode of all of the stuff of Derek and Ryan that we filmed. My personal favorite episode is in season two. It's the one with Sean. I'm not going to go into too much detail
Yeah,
because
that's understandable.
I'll hype it up when we're closer to the actual release. But that's my personal favorites. We we had some really fun stuff. We had a lot of cool stuff with like costumes and we went big for season two.
I'm really excited to see it. If you guys want to come back on here too, you're more than welcome to hype up the
Yeah,
future ones. Like that would be sweet. I like having you guys on here. You guys seem really cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's set in stone to do that one where it's you and Nick, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, just a matter of when. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I kind of talked to Nick a little bit about stuff outside of Derek and Ryan, like what his
Mhm.
favorite films were and what his favorite director is. Are you a film buff?
A little bit. So my favorite movie is Inglorious Bastards by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay, yep, that's a good movie. Is he your
Um,
favorite director also?
I mean, I don't know if I would say I have a favorite director. Um, I'm not that big of a film buff. You know, Obviously,
You can
I can
appreciate them
appreciate
all.
a good movie.
Yeah,
Sorry, what?
you can appreciate them all, like all the directors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And you can appreciate the different styles of different directors, right?
yeah, definitely.
On how they shoot things. Um, and like obviously there's lots of stuff that goes into film, especially if it's like Hollywood level, right?
Yeah. Well,
Like
Quentin
you know,
Tarantino is really good at making a very violent story,
yeah,
but it's not just mindless.
but
It
it's not just violence. Yeah,
Yeah, yep, yeah, or brainless either. Like it has a lot of layers to it.
I agree.
Yeah, I do like him. I like Kill Bill a lot.
Yeah.
Is there so off the top of your head? I know you said you don't really have favorite directors, but what's another one you like?
Um, I mean, I gotta say Spielberg, right?
Yes, of course.
I
Yep,
can't not say Spielberg. You know,
he's one of a kind, definitely.
um, yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite
I
from
don't
him?
know. I mean, probably I gotta go with like Jurassic Park. I mean,
That
that's
is
just a classic,
that is a
right?
good one. Yeah, I like E.T. quite a bit too.
E.T.'s another good movie.
Yeah, yep. I mean, he all of his movies really are, but like
Yeah,
I don't know, Jaws was so overhyped that when I finally saw it, I was a little let down.
yeah. I think in terms of uh, I'll out myself here. I actually have not seen Jaws.
Oh, that yeah,
Um,
that's all right.
I know. Obviously, it's a really famous movie. Um,
It's almost too famous though, because once you see it,
yeah,
it's not what you were expecting it to be.
yeah,
That's how my experience with it was, and it kind of sucked.
yeah. That makes sense. And I think also just because now I feel like the sort of giant shark trope has kind of been overplayed a little
Oh,
bit.
definitely,
You
yeah.
know,
I
you'll just have lots of movies that are like it's Jaws, but it's
not
different.
Jaws. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Sharknado,
yeah. Or like
Piranha.
what was that one? I think Bruce Willis was in it and Rainn Wilson, and it was like it might have just been called like The Meg. I don't.
Oh yeah, Jason Statham. And then I think that was him that was in that. The Meg
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think you're right.
was
Anyway.
Rainn Wilson from The Office. Yeah, he is in it.
Yeah. No, because he was the like billionaire who was funding everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did see that. I seen that movie once.
Yeah.
it had
Yeah. I
it
mean,
had
I
its
watched
funny
it once
parts.
like at least a year ago. I don't even remember when. Probably like around when it came out. Um.
I remember it was kind of funny sometimes, but
Yeah.
wasn't anything special by any means.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My personal favorite is probably Martin Scorsese. Have you seen much of his?
Okay. Okay. That's respectable.
Yeah. Well, have you seen any of his?
Um.
Probably Wolf of Wall
I gotta.
Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
I gotta
That's a funny
remember
one.
like what he's directed. Um.
He's done like Goodfellas too.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Goodfellas, The Departed, um, Aviator, Taxi Driver. Uh,
Okay.
I could see you and Nick doing something like Taxi Driver, like really good. Like if you guys were to ever veer out of comedy and do something serious, like I think you guys would
Yeah,
be great for that.
I think we could do something from. I mean, we've done like semi-dramatic things for like short films before for like school projects. Like in high school, we did one called The Card Game, which was like kind of Twilight Zone esque.
Oh, I love the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, and it was the premise was there are three people sitting around a table playing cards, but it's a four-person game. And then one of them is like, why are there only three people here? It's a four-person game, right? You know, why can't we remember coming into this room? You know, classic Twilight Zone stuff. And then at the end, the one person who was questioning it, you know, it goes back, but now the one person who was questioning it isn't there anymore. So it's just two people playing the four-person card game.
Oh man, do you is that on YouTube?
Maybe I'm actually not sure.
Man, if it is, you should find it and send me a link soon.
I can look.
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on, I can look right now.
Yeah, I'd be interested in watching that sometime soon, like tonight, like after we get done recording. Yeah, I really like the Twilight Zone. Are you guys fans of that too?
Yeah. No, I know Nick is a big fan of the Twilight Zone.
I remember him.
He's done some other projects that are kind of Twilight Zone esque.
Yeah,
without me.
He said that the new thing, the new short film he did was similar to it. Yeah. So we talked about it very briefly.
He showed me that one. I thought it was really good.
Oh yeah. What's the name of it again? I cannot remember it for the life of me. But it's that 15-minute one. It's about 15 minutes, right? Yeah, he was telling me about it. It sounds really good. Like, he didn't even tell me too much about it, but he said that it was like the Twilight Zone, and they had like 6-hour days to film for like, what was it, like 7 days or 8 days or 9 days? Yeah, he was talking about it on the one that me and him did. And then he said he might send it to film festivals, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it, but I am stoked for it.
Okay.
But you saw it already.
Yes, yeah, I saw. I did see that. Has he told you anything about like the plot of that one?
I don't think he mentioned the plot too much about it.
Okay, I don't want to like spoil it because it's not my thing; it's his thing.
Yeah.
But it was pretty interesting.
Well, he said that it was a script that wasn't his, but then he took it and he revised it to make it more fitting.
Was this for the Twilight Zone thing?
Yeah, yep. And it's like the most recent thing he's done. That's like 15 minutes long.
Well,
I just can't remember the name of it.
Because I'm forgetting the name too. He has done that before. So the Pyramid Scheme episode 3 actually. The original writer for that episode, I believe she is still credited as the writer. She wrote a script that was good, and it had gone through like multiple drafts, and then the day came for us to film it, and it basically just wasn't feasible, right? Because there was a bunch of stuff that her script required that we just didn't have.
Okay.
And so
he had to change it up quick.
He like rewrote the entire thing like on set.
I couldn't even imagine doing that.
Like he at one point he went upstairs and he was like, I'm gonna go print the scripts, and was up there for like half an hour, and then came down with the printed scripts, and later he was like, yeah, I just wrote like the next scene that we did right after that, I was writing during that half an hour, and I was like, yeah, that tracks. You know?
I couldn't even imagine doing that. I would feel like the script would suck. But I'm sure it was good. But I would just be like, man, that would make me really nervous.
Yeah, well,
especially because you're so crunched for time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in fairness, Nick is a bit of a procrastinator. He has some experience being crunched for time, I'll say.
Maybe that's just what he needs to work really good.
Yeah. So
What did you
but
do while you waited for him to make that script?
well, most of it was just like, you know, during that like half an hour, I want to say we were just sort of, like kind of sitting there because we initially thought, oh, he's just gonna go and print. It'll be like 5 minutes, right? Um, and so I was just sitting there like with the crew and our like one other cast member, um, just like waiting basically. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have imagined a show like that having to have a script written in such a short amount of time. It seems like you guys really put a lot of thought into it, but that makes it even more cool and unique. The fact that there's behind the scenes stories that don't go with
yeah.
that
Well,
description.
I mean, there are lots of crazy behind the scenes stories. Like, okay, this one isn't really a Derek and Ryan story. This is more of a high school story. But um, in one of the episodes of high school, it's called The Cult. Derek and Ryan get like locked outside um, by a basically a cult. um, and that like plot line came to be because Nick once got locked outside of his house and like stuck on the roof. And so
How do you manage
we
that?
had filming that day for something I don't remember what. This was probably like beginning of high school. Beginning of high school or end of middle school, I want to say. We had filming for something that day, and like an hour before we had filming, Nick calls me and goes, "Derek, what's the worst mistake you've ever made?" And I immediately think, "Oh crap, like I must have missed filming or something. Like I fucked up, right?" And he goes, "Cause I think I made mine." Well, first off, he got locked out of the house, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try and just break in through the window." But instead of deciding to go through the first story window, he was like, "No, I'm gonna get a ladder and climb up to the little like outcropping of roof that's by my sister's window on the second floor." Um, he was like, "So I got on the ladder, but I couldn't quite reach, so I had to kind of jump a little bit to get onto the roof, but the window was locked." So he got stuck on the roof for like 3 hours.
Did the ladder fall or?
I think the ladder was still up, but he was like, "I don't want to risk trying to get back on it."
Okay. It's so far down.
Yeah. Anyway, so a fair amount of stuff that we've like written has, well, not all of it, but there's definitely a decent portion of stuff that has come from real things that happen, right?
I definitely understand that.
Like, I mean, the Planty episode, Derek and Ryan
Grow weed
was that was a real cannabis plant, Anyway,
I was wondering if it was.
it was.
So do you guys actually engage in that?
A little bit,
yeah. Yeah. I was wondering especially because me and Nick were kind of talking about it, but in high school you guys obviously didn't do that. But he told me that when you guys went on over to this one, you wanted to make it more adult themed.
Yeah, more like adult.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we went for some more adult themes, and I think it works. I think it works well.
I think it makes it really funny.
Yeah.
It adds a whole nother layer to the.
Exactly.
Yeah, the odd takes and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that at the end of the Fight Nazis where, you're like, no, he wasn't here. That's just what LSD does to you.
That's what acid's like. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was good. That was a good one. Yeah, I'm excited to see Pyramid Scheme coming up. What was the most challenging part of that one without any spoilers,
Ooh.
because this will probably come out before that episode to promote it.
So for Pyramid Scheme, the most challenging
I, I
thing.
guess I guess maybe first we should say we should go over the most challenging part of Fight Nazis, and then
Okay,
transition
well,
into Pyramid
honestly,
Scheme.
Fight Nazis actually was probably the easiest one to film of season one. That
The
was
smoothest
the
one.
only episode that we didn't have any reshoots to do.
Oh, really?
Every single other episode in season one, we've had at least one round of reshoots. And the finale for season one, Broccoli Pals episode, we've had like 4 rounds of reshoots. So, the Nazi episode actually I think was probably the easiest one to film. We were able to knock it out in like 2-3 days.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I figured it would have been a little longer than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it's a small enough cast, and we don't need that many people, it's usually not that bad. And also, Paul and Nick and I all have acting backgrounds. The scenes with just us, we're able to go by pretty quickly, because we usually do rehearsals on set, but everyone is able to pick up their lines pretty quick. We're able to get into the scene and just shoot it, right? Move on.
Definitely. And so that one was really easy to do.
Yeah, well, maybe not easy, but the easiest.
Yeah, easiest, yeah. Well, that's good that it wasn't all challenging then.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot.
And also, I mean, it's always fun being on set, right? Like I think you can tell when you're on set, like if something is gonna turn out well. Like if everyone's, like in it and we're, having a good time and we're, just working with it, and even when stuff is scripted, lots of times improv will just like get into it, right? We'll be like, in just one of the takes, someone will ad lib something, and we'll be like, okay, that was hilarious. We need to include that, right?
Definitely. So
Yeah.
like with Fight Nazis, you knew that it was going to be a good episode, and you knew that it was going to turn out
that was
easy to edit.
That was my favorite episode from season one.
I think Nick said his favorite was Pyramid Scheme, if I remember right.
Pyramid Scheme. So our editor for Pyramid Scheme, her name is Rachel. She has, so it's not done yet, but what she has done so far has been phenomenal. It looks great. I'm very excited to release it.
I'm excited to see it. I've really liked this season so far. Do you guys plan on entering these into film festivals or anything?
Maybe. We haven't really talked about it very much. Potentially. I think it'll come down to whether either of us actually just like sits down and does it.
They are very funny. I think if they caught the attention of the right judge, that they could be very successful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So then what was the most difficult part of the Pyramid Scheme one?
A Pyramid Scheme?
Yes.
Ooh.
Don't forget, this will be released prior to the release of that episode.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Well, I don't know. Are we doing this for promotion for episode 3 or 4? Do you know yet?
Yeah, this one's gonna be the promotion for Pyramid Scheme.
Okay. So then it'll be you and him on the podcast, you and Nick on the podcast for episode 4.
Episode 4, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Sweet. Perfect. Then. Yeah. Just.
For the most challenging part to do for Pyramid Scheme. I'm trying to think. Probably the stuff with So one of the characters who we added in Pyramid Scheme, the character's name is Marcus. The actor who played him, his name was Rowan, I want to say. He hasn't been in any of our stuff before. He was just like a guest actor.
Yeah. So like
And
your first
he was
time
great to
working with
work
him.
with. I'm not saying he was difficult to work with. I just think obviously the more people you have on set, the longer things take, the more
Definitely.
challenging it is. So probably the stuff with him, just because we
It's your
had more people in the room.
and it's your first time working with him probably too.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
But he did a great job too.
So that
All of the actors we have worked with, I think have done a great job.
so what can we expect from Pyramid Scheme?
Well, so I'll give a little bit of a teaser. So Derek creates a business where he is selling placebo drugs to children.
Okay.
is basically what it is. He's selling like baked goods and pretending that they are like an
Edibles.
energy supplement.
Oh, okay.
Even though they're not. And he enlists the help of his younger cousin Billy, who's actually played by my younger brother Liam.
Was he in high school or is this a new character?
No, Liam was not in high school.
Okay.
Billy gets introduced in Pyramid Scheme.
Okay.
That's his first appearance. What was I saying? Oh yes, so he enlists Billy to help him, peddle this stuff, and Ryan learns about it and is like, "What are you doing?" And obviously chaos ensues.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. I don't really know. I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm not the best at these podcast things.
You're good.
Is there anything else that you think we should push for promotion to get people to want to watch this episode?
Nothing really comes to mind. I guess watch the episode. It's a good episode. It's definitely. I don't know if I would say if it's better or worse than the Derek and Ryan Grow Weed. They're close. They're definitely close. You know,
I've really
I
enjoyed
think they.
the first two so far. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought Grow Weed was perfect. the Epstein
yeah,
line.
That one we had a lot of fun filming that one.
The Epstein line's hilarious in that one.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite line from that episode.
Yeah, that was great.
And then the guy who killed himself?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
that
one.
guy.
Then the part where you're pulling your little wagon down the steps.
Oh yeah. Okay, that was. Yeah, well, for that scene actually, we were like, how are we gonna do this, right? Because the joke was, oh, I'm taking the plant for a walk. We were like, should I just be carrying the pot, right? And then we were like, no, that probably won't look as good. And then we found this like old ass, wagon that I just had like in my backyard. And we were like, okay, we can use this, and obviously the plant wasn't actually in the wagon when we had it going down the stairs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, that was funny because you're having a conversation and you kept hearing the wagon hit the step, and it's
keep hearing the wheels banging on the stairs.
Yeah, it's just super loud.
Pot? Is that some kind of slur because of his species?
That's what I mean. The writing's so good on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you help with the lines when you like in the writing process?
Sometimes I think more often than not, the lines that I help with end up being like improvised later.
Okay.
I mean, like when we're actually writing the script, we'll go through multiple drafts. I mean, like two, basically, two or three. Um, so like Nick will, write the script and I'll look at it and I'll give notes and I'll be like, we could say this here, this would be funny. We could change this up, whatever. Um, but I think in terms of like actual jokes that I add, usually it's either um sometimes it'll be like, while we're writing, I'll be like, this is a funny thing that one of us could say, right? And then it'll get added in. But I'd say more often than not, it just is like while we're filming, you know, it'll get ad libbed in, you know, and we'll like it, we'll include it, right? Like
Definitely.
Nikhil, who plays Kenny, um, he was in Derek and Ryan Grow Weed. He was the like Deus Ex Machina, the guy who caught Planty. He was in high school as well.
Oh, I'm trying to remember who that character is. I can't think of him off the top of my head.
He's the Indian guy.
Okay, yep. I vaguely remember. I'm gonna need to go back and rewatch that.
Um, so Nikhil, who plays Kenny, first off, is absolutely hilarious. So a lot of the stuff in season 2 of High School, um, which, in fairness, a fair amount of that is yet to be released.
Oh, really?
But like, of like the stuff with him from High School.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the like season 2 stuff that we didn't get finished.
Are you gonna release any of that ever?
So yes.
Oh,
I'm not gonna say how.
Is this what Nicholas told me about?
What did he say?
The season 2 finale.
Yes.
Okay.
With so in the season 2 finale, we're gonna tie in a bunch of the plot points from the High School season 2 finale
that never came to be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. And he said that you guys originally tried to recreate it with Camp Kenny, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nikhil, who plays Kenny, probably like at least a third of his lines were just things that he said while we were filming, and just everyone would break because we'd be like, "Oh my god, like, God damn it, Nikhil, that's hilarious." We have to put this in. Like he had one line in Camp Kenny, which obviously has not been released yet, but he had one line where he was like, Camp Kenny was founded by my great grandfather Robert E. Lee, not the one you're thinking of, the Civil War general.
That is pretty good, especially off the top, huh? Or was that scripted?
Exactly, yeah. He's a hilarious guy.
That's great.
Yeah.
When did you guys film Camp Kenny?
Like our junior and senior years of high school.
Would that have been like 2018 or something?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's like the footage of that is going to be included in season 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
The season 2 finale, a fair amount of the Camp Kenny footage that we have from years and years ago is going to be incorporated into the season 2 finale, and that episode is one of the longer ones in season 2, because obviously we filmed a fair amount of stuff that takes place in the current Derek and Ryan timeline, but we also have a bunch of Camp Kenny footage that is also getting added in. So that one's one of the longer episodes.
Okay. All right. Well, sweet. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see where the series goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you can think of that we should say about episode 3?
Nothing really comes to mind.
It'll just likely be released on a Thursday, right?
Yes. Yeah,
So
our normal release schedule is we release on Thursdays. Sometimes, if something comes up and we have to move it, then you know, then okay, if it has to get moved, it has to get moved. We aim to release on Thursdays.
okay, so
Yeah.
uh, I can always go back and edit this and fix this if I need to, but
Okay.
probably just leave it on a note where people know that it's coming out. We'll probably
Okay.
release this the Sunday before the episode
Okay.
drops on that Thursday. So
Perfect.
Derek and Ryan, um, what's this one called? Create a pyramid
Derek and
scheme.
Ryan start a pyramid scheme.
Okay, Derek and Ryan
Or
start.
it might be make a pyramid scheme.
Okay, okay.
I think it's start a pyramid scheme.
Okay, we think it's Derek and Ryan start a pyramid scheme. We'll be out.
I can check. Hold on.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. Just a second.
No, you're all good. I understand what that's like. I forget the titles of stuff all the time. I did it with Nick's film,
Yeah.
which sorry Nick. We'll also have to figure out if you guys do want to do this again for season 2, how we're gonna divvy that up. Like I don't know, maybe we could just devote an episode of the podcast per episode of the show where it's both of you guys and you guys just kind of give a synopsis of the upcoming episode.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about some fun tidbits of it or whatever, or returning
Yeah.
characters, stuff like that. We'll have to sit down and think about it and try to see if we can
absolutely
make what work. But
it is start a pyramid scheme.
Okay. So Derek and Pyramid, Derek and Ryan start a pyramid scheme will be out Thursday. We don't have a date because we're filming this so far in advance, but whenever this is released, it'll be on a Sunday, and if you look at your calendar, it'll be out that Thursday. Does that sound good with you?
That sounds great.
Okay. It was really nice meeting you. I hope that we can talk and be friends.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see the next 6 episodes and what you guys do after that. And I can't wait to have that podcast we both are on.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. Everybody go check out Derek and Ryan. If you have any links of anything that you're working on or have worked on, you can send them to me and I can put them in the description of this.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could definitely do that.
Definitely. You can do that on. You have my Facebook, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember if you were Facebook or email, but yeah, you can send them to me on there, and I'll just copy and paste them into the description. But
perfect. Yeah, I can definitely do that.
All right, sounds perfect. It was great meeting you, and thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You have a good one.
You too, man. Bye bye.
All right, peace.